There's a specific tightness, it sits right behind your sternum. And it starts about 6 or 7 days before the event. A group dinner, a weekend trip someone organized in the group chat. You scroll past the messages, and your jaw clenches. Before you even finish reading the itinerary, your shoulders climb toward your ears, your breathing gets shallow, and you don't even notice it happening until you're lying in bed that night, with your pulse doing something it shouldn't be doing, over a casual Saturday plan with people you genuinely care about. Let's talk about what happens next, because this is where it gets strange. You cancel, or you find a reason, or you simply stop responding long enough that the invitation dissolves on its own. And the moment it's gone, the moment that obligation evaporates from your calendar, something in your chest unlocks. Not happiness exactly. More like your entire ribcage finally loosens after being wound tight for days. Your hands unclench, and then, almost on cue, like a second wave crashing right behind the first, comes the other thing. That cold little whisper, something is wrong with you. Normal people don't feel relief when they dodge their own friends. Normal people don't lie in bed dreading brunch. Picture a woman, late 20s, let's call her Maya. She works in marketing, she laughs easily. She's not hiding in corners at parties. She's not medicated, she's not bitter. She likes her people. But right now she's staring at a calendar notification for a group trip. That's 8 days away, and there is a slow, creeping heaviness, spreading across her chest like someone is pouring warm concrete between her ribs. She can already feel the fatigue of it. Not the trip itself, but the performance the trip will demand. She'll go. She already knows she'll go, because not going carries a price that has nothing to do with logistics, and everything to do with how people will read her absence. And that dread sitting in her chest right now, that heaviness that showed up a full week early. It's not anxiety in the clinical sense. It's not a disorder. It's her body telling her something very specific about what it needs, and she's already learned to override that signal so many times that she barely registers it as information anymore. You came home from that weekend trip and sat in your car for 20 minutes before going inside, not because you were tired in the way people mean when they say tired. Your body felt like it had been running a program in the background for 48 straight hours, something you couldn't name and couldn't shut off. Everyone else posted photos that night. You needed 3 days before you could even look at them. And the worst part wasn't the exhaustion. It was the apology already forming in your throat. The text you were drafting to the group chat explaining why you went quiet. Making yourself sound busier than you were so nobody would think you didn't enjoy it. Because you did enjoy parts of it, that's what makes this so disorienting. You genuinely like these people. You're not hiding from them. But something in the way your nervous system metabolizes a room full of voices, laughter, shared meals, overlapping conversations. It costs you more than it cost the person who was sitting right next to you. And you've been measuring yourself against that person your entire life. Research that's been around since the 90s, but still hasn't made it into most people's vocabulary, found that roughly 15 to 20% of the population processes sensory and emotional input at a fundamentally deeper level. Not louder, deeper. Their brains are running more operations per interaction, pulling more data from every face, every shift in tone, every silence that lasted half a second too long. So when you walk out of a dinner party, feeling like you just finished a 12-hour shift, that's not a personality flaw. That's an accurate reflection of what your brain actually did while you were smiling and nodding. But nobody told you that. What you got told, over and over, in 100 small ways, was that you hadn't grown into yourself yet. That the version of you who could handle all of this effortlessly was still coming, and you just needed to push a little harder. Every invitation felt like a test of character, and opting out felt like failing it. And every time you dragged yourself back into the noise, you came home more convinced that something essential was missing from the way you were built. You've sat at that dinner table, laughing on cue, refilling someone's glass, nodding through a story you stopped tracking 10 minutes ago. And the whole time there's this low hum underneath everything, this quiet awareness that you are performing, not connecting, performing. Years of that rewires something in you. You start forgetting what your actual face feels like when no one's watching. You start losing the boundary between what you genuinely enjoy and what you've trained yourself to tolerate, because someone once made you feel like your silence was a problem they needed to solve. That script got inside you. It got inside a lot of us. The idea that presence means wellness and absence means something broke, and